a tale of power, love, and prejudice. In his new book, Defending Alice, a novel of love and race in the Roaring Twenties, Richard Stratton takes us back in time to reimagine the true story of Alice Jones, a biracial woman who marries into a prominent New York City family. Her story captured national attention when her husband then sued her for an annulment, accusing her of hiding her race. Author Richard Stratton joins us now. Mr. Stratton, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Curious to learn, how did you first know about the real-life case of Alice Jones?
I actually read about the case in a classic book that's read by trial lawyers called The Art of Cross-Examination. And in that book, they had excerpts from Lee Parsons Davis, who represented Alice. I got the actual trial transcripts and read those. So I immersed myself in all of the factual information, and then I sat down and let my imagination reimagine the case.
Was there anything that you discovered in your research about this case that really has stuck with you?
What sticks with me is this woman's courage. Not only her courage, but her tenacity. I mean, she refused all this money. She went to trial every day. The trial was unbelievably exhausting. It was a huge case here in New York. There were Ku Klux Klan members who were demonstrating and rioting outside the courthouse. So it took a great deal of courage.
And for those who are not familiar with the story, because you've talked about that she was offered this money, and that what was her end goal here? That she wanted to stay married to her husband? What was her ideal end?
Well, I do believe her ideal end was to stay married to her husband. And in fact, she won the case, so the marriage survived, but the marriage did not survive the trauma of the lawsuit.
And you tell the story through three different perspectives: Alice, her husband, and her attorney. Why did you choose to tell the story from each of their viewpoints?
Well, I was fascinated by Lee Parsons Davis, who's her lawyer. He had the brilliant way. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but he had her actually strip for the members of the jury and expose her body so that they could see that any man who saw her naked would have to know that she was mixed race. So, I mean, that was an incredibly, what should I say, inflammatory movement, but it worked. It totally worked. He got a lot of criticism for doing that, but I'm convinced that the all-male, all-white jury took one look at that woman when she was disrobed and said, no, there's no way that this guy could have been fooled to think that she was a pure white Anglo-Saxon woman.
That's fascinating, a detail just in and of itself. What's your response to any critics who say that you aren't able to accurately understand her perspective being a black woman since you're a white male yourself?
Well, I would say I'm married to a black woman. So that gives me a lot of insight into it, I think. But also, you know, it really is, it's about character. And I think that character is something that crosses racial lines. You know, a strong character, whether she's black, white, Indian, or whatever. You know, it's just, I was fascinated by this woman's courage. I think she honestly believed, and I think she was right, that her husband did not want to leave this marriage. He was forced into it by his father.
Mr. Stratton, if I can just put you on the spot here for a minute, I have this gnawing question about when she was disrobed before this all-male jury. What would distinguish the race by a woman being naked? How would you be able to tell for sure, oh, he should have known she wasn't white?
Well, there you go. I mean, certainly she was dark, but she was not that dark. So, I mean, I don't know. You know, it's kind of, when you try to think of what the lawyers had in mind, I honestly believe that they figured this is going to get this jury. We're going to get this jury, one all-male, all-white jury. They've never seen a woman like this with no clothes on. They're going to vote for her once they take a look at her. I mean, that may be a crass way of looking at it, but I think that was something was going on in their minds. That there's no way, they felt there was no way you could look at this woman with no clothes on and not know that she was mixed race. That was their opinion.
Really fascinating stuff. Defending Alice, a novel of love and race in the Roaring Twenties, is now available wherever books are sold. Thank you so much, Mr. Stratton. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.